Victor Bento.
Hey,
Everyone's
thanks.
looking at this like, wait, what's happening right now? She's interviewing a guy. That never happens.
Yeah, right. That's,
Well, ladies, sometimes I have to bring in a gentleman because they are the ones that have the opportunity to share with us with what we need. And I'll just share very quickly for everybody watching. Everybody probably knows me already. I'm Colleen Biggs. I'm the founder of Lead Up for Women. And I'm coming to you guys today in the group and on our Facebook page because I found this tool when it was referred to me a couple months ago called Repurpose. And I met Victor probably 6 months ago, I guess it's been now, maybe a little bit longer.
yeah.
In a group that I'm in that we attend these regular seminars and summits that they have where we're able to network and meet hundreds and hundreds of people and women. I have invited you to the Top Talent JV Summit every time we've had them. So I will put the link again in our comment section of this video when we're finished. But this tool Repurpose that I found, I was going to hire someone and literally was in the process of talking to somebody, an employee, about, hey, what would it look like for you to take all my videos that I have, that I've ever recorded, everything on Facebook Live, all the videos that I have, and upload them on YouTube for me. So that was what my path I was looking for at the time. I just needed a workflow to figure out how to do that. And I figured it needed to be manual. Someone needed to take all my videos and upload them. And one of the ladies in the group mentioned, hey, I use this software called Repurpose. It takes all my videos and automatically, as they're recorded, uploads them to YouTube. I was like, wait, what did you just say? So I was super excited. I went in and checked it out after the summit. And lo and behold, I set up a workflow. I purchased the next level, right? There's a free level that you can use. So many of you could probably even use the free level. I had hundreds of videos that I wanted to transfer from Facebook Live to get onto YouTube. And literally, I had 7 pages of videos. And within, I know that sounds like a lot,
Yeah.
right? And within a day, I think it was, they started, working through it. I purchased the annual contract, which is dirt cheap. You can't pay someone 2 hours for what I paid for a full year. For me to be able to go in and within 2 days, it just did it overnight while I was sleeping, automatically uploaded all my videos, and they're there. So now I don't even think about it. Every time I go in and do a video like this, it will show up on YouTube and I'll get an email that says, congratulations, your video was uploaded. Now, that's how I'm using it. But I brought Victor on because Victor reached out to me and said, hey, I'm so glad you love that software. Would you like me to come and talk to your group about it? Because I believe he's a little bit more well-versed in what Repurpose is, what it can do, how it can save you time, all the workflows you can create with it. I'm like scratching the surface on workflows with Repurpose. So I wanted to have Victor here to talk to us a little bit more eloquently about how we use Repurpose. So Victor, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, of course, of course. So I'm like I said, I'm happy to hear that you were using it. When I think the person that introduced it to you, we were in a breakout room session and they were asking specifically about it. And then I mentioned, I was like, this is what I do and this is how I use it. I kind of very quickly in like 2 minutes explained it. So it didn't give it that much, I guess, value, other than it saves you a bunch of time,
Yeah.
And of course, you don't have to have someone else on the other side manually doing all this. They could be used to help with other things that go along with it. So there's a lot here that can happen. And I think there is one of the biggest things here is it helps with content creation, right? We have to kind of be everywhere, especially online. You got to show up everywhere, right? Not just on Facebook, not just on YouTube, not just on LinkedIn, but like Instagram, and now there's TikTok, and there's just a bunch of places to show up, right? But I think what most people fall into is a trap. They're like, well, I got to create content because I just got to create content. And my belief is that we don't want to create, like, not all content is created equal. So there is a specific strategy involved in how you create content. You want to create content that's going to bring people, attract them to you, and make them have them move closer with you and eventually want to work with you. However, if you're just creating content just to create content, you're creating what I like to call infobesity. So it's, you know, something that we live in this information world. We now moved into the insight world where we don't need information. We have it at our fingertips, right? We can just search Google anything. Whereas we're looking, instead of looking for endless pages of information or videos or content or anything like that, we're looking for specific quick tips that are going to allow us to move the needle forward in what it is we're trying to actually do. So when it comes to creating content and using Repurpose, like a tool like that, again, it's a tool that's used to enhance what we're already doing. And one of the things, do you mind if I share my screen really quick?
Yeah, go ahead. We just give you
Sure.
the ability to do so. And there you go.
Yeah, cool. So then I'll show you very quickly here, just a quick thing of what it is. But this is how I literally am everywhere so that I can attract everyone. You know, I can attract my audience and have them move closer to me in only about 8 to 10 minutes a week. And if I want to do more than that, I can, but I don't necessarily have to. So just, I guess, a little bit about myself before we jump into it. Like, I'm the founder of Mentorplot, which is a marketing agency that we run a lot of Facebook ads for high-driven coaches and consultants. We've worked with multiple 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses. We help them generate leads and that turn into sales, hundreds of thousands. I can't even count anymore. But we've been doing this since 2015. And essentially, I've created a process in which we take everyone through, and that is how we generate leads, attract, engage, elevate, and convert everyone to help them. And this tool is a piece of that puzzle, right? So we do that through what we call the complete automation strategy. This is more focused on the organic content, but you know, we've developed a lot of that, and we have a book that kind of breaks down our whole process and everything like that. But where we're going to go today, and it's how to really just go live on one platform like this, Facebook, but then we can show up everywhere, right? We were seen on multiple platforms with only about 8 to 10 minutes. And I'm going to talk about a couple of worksheets here like that. If you guys want to get it, you can feel free to go to bentobot.com/bundle to get the actual worksheets that I'm going to be talking about here. So you don't have to kind of rewatch everything and like try to figure out everything there. But one of the biggest things here is, what should we talk about? So I talked about, like, not all content is created equal. We want to know, like, what it is we actually talk about. So here's one of the tools, an additional site that I use when I help clients kind of map this whole thing out, right? There's different milestones that people go through when we actually help them along the way. If we were to help someone completely do it on their own, what obstacles do they run into? What milestones do they need to run into or overcome to get there to the successful, like, island of happy, to from where they were to the island of sad, right? And that's how we help people. So I use a site called Answer the Public, and I'll kind of show it here really briefly here. In a nutshell, you can type in, for example, I typed in a keyword, Facebook ads, and you can see this is going to literally spit out everything that people are typing into Google about Facebook ads. And this gives me, like, questions like this: will Facebook ads show on Instagram? Will Facebook ads die? You know, like, there's which Facebook ads are most effective. Those are all specific little topics that I can create micro content about if I know that my specific audience is running into those issues. These are the questions they are asking. So why not create content that's answering those questions, instead of thinking about, like, okay, what do I think they're going to ask? Go here and look at what they're actually asking and then answer it, if that's what you know. Like, we've done this with speaker coaches. They've looked at speaking. Like, one of the big one is, how do I create a signature talk, right? So that's things like that. There's a bunch of little questions that come along here, and you have, like, this, I don't even know how many pieces of content that could be, but that at least gives you a starting point, and you can start to really identify where people are going to run into issues or obstacles and how to overcome them and help them that way, right? So then you type type those in, you have endless amounts of content. So that's how you create what you actually should talk about, what you go live about, what you create, and allows you to attract those people closer to you. Because now you're not just creating content just to create content, you're actually answering something that they want solved. And so then they associate that knowledge and that insight with you, and they move closer to you and to you every time. So a few questions to consider when really thinking about these milestones before we really dive into repurpose here is, how do we move that person from the island of sad to the island of happy, right? And we do that through different questions and different milestones, as you can see here. But some of the examples that I've used, and this is just, I have a worksheet in that bundle that kind of walks you through the entire process to map out your content and how we do it and how we do it for our clients. But for example, in milestone 1, most people are in like the unaware stage, right? We all know that they don't even know about us yet. So what they're asking questions like, what questions should I be asking? What mindset do I need to shift? You know, they don't know what they don't know yet. So we have to kind of educate them and indoctrinate them into that process. For example, if someone is looking to use paid traffic, do they know that Facebook ads is a viable option? They might hear that Facebook ads tends to be like really expensive, whereas there's specific content that I've created that kind of breaks that myth and how to make it actually profitable. So that's milestone 1, people that are in that stage. Milestone 2, you know, what tools and steps do they need to use, or where do they start? What's their first step? So for example, in this case, that's creating content around repurpose, things like that, tools like that answer the public and repurpose to make it easier for you to actually move forward. And when you start to understand that and use those tools, I'm the person that gets associated with you taking that action and that momentum in your business. So even though you may work with me tomorrow, a year, 3 years from now, you've now got one step further ahead because of the content that I've been able to create and provide to you to make things move faster for you. And then again, like milestone 3, how do you keep their momentum going? What's after that? Sure, these tools are great, but what we're doing right now is I'm showing you this milestone 3 piece, and this is kind of like taking a step out of the presentation to show you like that's really what this presentation is all about, is that milestone 3. It's showing you how to keep going. You can use the tools, but if you don't know how to use them, if you have the keys to an airplane, you don't know how to fly it, the airplane's not going to go anywhere. Whereas if you have repurpose, a tool that helps you be everywhere, but you don't know what to create for it, then you're not going to use the software itself. Whereas this is where we're showing you how to do that. And then obviously, what's the next logical step for milestone 4? This usually has to revolve around testimonials or things of people saying like, well, sure, it works for everyone else, but it doesn't work for me. Like overcoming those types of objections in your content, and how you do that is usually through testimonials. So Colleen, do you have any questions so far with what we've covered as far as creating that content?
No, I don't. You're like right in the wheelhouse for Lead Up for Women. You know, we really promote women to show up and be seen everywhere, and giving them the platforms to do that. So this is just another resource and an opportunity for them to show up and be seen, as well as understand that it's important how you show up, right? And how you're seen, not just showing up and being seen, but how are you doing that? What is the authenticity of your message? What is your message? What are you sharing? So I love what you're doing. Thank you, Victor.
Of course, yeah. And I just read a comment here for Sue Lynn Brooks. So I appreciate that. Thank you. I know her and I met a little bit at the JV Mastermind too. We had a conversation. So, but exactly, you know, it allows you to show up in a more purposeful way. You're actually helping people, you know, the good old help them by actually helping them trick, like that actually works. So if you can create that content that moves the needle for someone, of course, they're thinking in their head, you become the voice inside their head, right? You're helping them understand that if their free stuff is this valuable and it helps me move the needle this way, what does it look like when I actually work with them? You know, that's the whole principle. That's the whole idea of it. And so once you're able to do that, that's how you show up everywhere. And like, this is where we get to the tool that we use now as Repurpose. So I'll provide that link again down there, but that's really how I do it. It's one simple piece of software to get it started. And I'll show you what it looks like on the back end here. It can be a little confusing, but for the most part, it's a quick thing, right? I have it set up to connect, and this is like me showing up also like our different clients and stuff like that. But I have it set up to send it to my Facebook group. I have it set up to send to a Google Drive so that my VA can take over a little bit and do some additional work to it. My video editor can go in and do it. Otherwise, you have just your content being spread out. But I also have it set up to send it to my podcast. So it actually strips the audio automatically for you and actually sends it to your podcast if that's what you want. So now you have not just the video platform, but now you have audio platforms. And on audio platforms, you're reaching that many more people who just focus on listening to you as opposed to watching you. Sometimes like Facebook is the new television, people are watching you. Podcasts are the new radio where people are listening to you. Instagram is the new magazine where people are flipping through different ads and images from you. So like, if you think about it from that perspective, you can create this. This actually has it sent to YouTube, to LinkedIn, to Twitter. It takes the audio, and then I have additional automation set up to where that audio then transcribes automatically. And now I have blog posts and articles that I can put out there, because sometimes people like to read what it is. The blog posts and articles are the new newspaper. So like that, like if you're doing all of that, it allows you to very quickly create one piece of content, but it's always everywhere and on different ways of people and how they like to consume your content. As you can see, I'm sure you're a bit like me and you don't always go to Facebook for everything. You might go to Instagram for something. You might go to YouTube to learn something, or you might go to LinkedIn to interact a different way. So like, everyone likes to interact and consume content a different way. So be the one who's actually providing that to them. So then again, now you're tapping into multiple different audiences that eventually lead back to you. And that's, in a nutshell, how we are able to do all of this with this one simple software here. So I'm sure, Colleen, I saw you writing notes there, so I'm sure you're already like, oh, okay, I'm gonna start doing that. Yeah.
I'm writing notes, and I'm also writing them down so that I can share them on the video afterwards, because I want to make sure I write notes down there and put some links. I've already put a couple of links.
Yeah, I saw
Answer the Public, and as well as the ventobot.com bundle.
Awesome. Yep. Yeah. So that bundle is absolutely free. It has 3 worksheets in there. One of the 3 worksheets is what we're talking about just now, is that content, that milestone content, how to map it out. Later on, there's another worksheet that I'm going to be talking about as well. And so once we actually do this, this is actually what this looks like with just Repurpose, right? At the very top, you have just the Facebook Live, right? Whether it be a Facebook video or a Facebook Live, you can change how, you can adjust to which one, or you can have both of them set up from Repurpose to do it that way. Once it does that, you can push it to a group. You can then push it to Google Drive. You can push it to YouTube. And from there, you can also push it to Twitter and to LinkedIn. And then, like I mentioned, to podcast platforms and even SoundCloud, right? That's just from you providing that one piece of content at the very top. The rest will happen auto-magically, right? So that is how you're able to do that. And you're really very quickly just showing up on 4 or 5 different platforms without having to do anything, right? You just showed up once on Facebook. That's it. Now, we go a little bit further, and with our, like, for example, like my RVA, and we can get into this a little bit more, but when we add a lot more to it, like I was saying, when we transcribe the audio, I have my video editor chop up the main big videos, edit them to make social cuts, to make 1 or 2 minute videos that are literally droplets of what the main piece of content is. Now you can see that just expanded what I did. Now we're having a human interaction, and this is where I think Colleen can, like, I think you can actually benefit from, when, like you said, that person that was going to just manually move it over, now they can be used to actually, for example, chop up the videos. They can be used to help transcribe the videos, or to help to post them on the articles and everything like that. But you can see so much more happens now, because that additional person now allows you it gives them that much more firepower to do things. So from the audio, we take transcriptions and we turn those into articles. We turn them into LinkedIn articles. We then turn them into blog posts that we put on our website and on like article boards like Medium and things like that. And then additionally, we have a software that we connected to, we take little blurbs out of those articles and those get posted across all of those other media channels. So for example, like Twitter and Instagram and YouTube, no, sorry, not YouTube, but Facebook and LinkedIn. Those 4 channels have an additional pieces of those article blurbs taking out, and they're posted as social pieces of images and content. And so on top of that, the videos get then chopped up and then sent to different platforms like LinkedIn and Facebook again, and Instagram and Twitter. So now literally from that one piece of content, I have now created with an additional like team about 3 to 4 pieces of content to be posted a day for each of those different platforms, because I went live one time. So how much time, just imagine how much time that will save you. You go live, for example, 30 minutes, and then that can create an additional 5 to 6 pieces of content the next week. You go live once, the next week, you have 5 to 6 pieces of content a day for that rest of the week, so that you only go live once. But then how, like, you're seen everywhere and more consistently as well. Because I'm sure if you're anything like myself, before all of this, you would probably be participating in what I like to call random acts of marketing, right? You have like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go live for this month, and like we're gonna promote this big thing, and then you're quiet for like 2 months or something like that, because it's hard to create that content. So I just took all that away and took that obstacle away and said, go to Answer the Public, type in your keywords, get all the content pieces that you can answer. That's step 1. That's how you overcome that obstacle. Step 2 is how you create the multiple pieces of content and post them daily. Use this software. Step 3 is now, what do we do though? If we're just creating content and we're not giving a call to action, I'm sure you guys all understand this, is if you're not giving a call to action, there's not going to be a way for them to continue to be in your world, right? So how do we do that, right? Because like I said, not all content is created equal, but if we do just create just to create, then we're adding to this infobesity complex. And again, I like to explain that as like people consuming without actually doing anything. So then they'll associate that consumption without action with you, and that's not what I want, and that's not what I want for you. I want you to have people consuming your content that actually do something and get a result in advance. Like I mentioned earlier, like good old help them by actually helping them trick, right? So, yeah. So, but like, what if instead we always had a purpose and we gave them a way to actually move it at the next step? Like we created that momentum and they're inspired to actually move forward and want to work with you. So here's how you do that. We use subtle reminders. I kind of did this a little bit at the beginning, and you may have noticed that during this, if you really paid attention outside of the presentation, I do this all the time whenever I create content, because here's the thing. Most people that pay attention to you and watch your content consistently, sometimes they're not going to wait till the end to hear the call to action. If they've seen you enough, sometimes they want an offer right away. Sometimes they want an offer somewhere down the middle because they're like, that's it, that's what I needed, and then they need what the next step is. Sometimes they're new and they need to watch the whole thing and get the offer at the end. So many people are told, put your call to action at the end. Why just at the end? Like that is my question to everyone. Why just at the end? If you pay attention to, and I don't know, not to date myself, but like growing up, I watched a lot of Home Shopping Network. My mother was really into it. And so that is, if you look at it across history on television, now Facebook is the new television, remember, on television, that was the most profitable channel in all of television network because of these little subtle reminders. Whenever they showcase the product, before they started talking and demonstrating the product, so before you show your content and demonstrate how to move forward and get momentum, they had a call to action. If you want to get it, call this number below. And then that's how they started selling. Somewhere during the presentation, they were saying, hey, by the way, if you want to get it, we have 10 left. call this number, blah, blah, blah. And then of course, at the end, they always say it, like, we only have 2 left.
We're
Blah, blah,
sold
blah.
out.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. But why do they only have 2 left at that point? Because they were telling people to do it throughout the content, throughout the demonstration. So if it may feel awkward at first, I promise you, if you practice this, whenever you create content, these are very subtle ways to make that offer without insulting anyone, right? If I were to come on to like a piece of content that, for example, how to scale your Facebook ads without losing your shirt, I wouldn't start the piece of content by saying like, hey, I want you to go work with me and go here, sign up, and this is what it's going to cost. This is what blah, blah, blah. Like that, immediately you get turned off by that because I'm pitching you. I don't want to pitch you. I want to remind you of what to do if you want to move faster. So at the beginning, instead, I say, hey, before we begin, if you're serious about having this just taken off your hands, head on over to this page here. We'll start an application and then we'll see if we're a right fit to move forward. Now, back to scaling, blah, 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 and then I just go back to the content. I'm simply reminding somebody what to do if they want to move even faster now, right? So I don't waste their time. I don't like my time wasted. I'm sure you don't like your time wasted. So why waste someone else's time and force them to wait till the end to know what to do next? Tell them what to do at the beginning. Hey, before we begin, somewhere in the middle, hey, by the way, or if it's a really long piece of content, you can add those additional ones before we continue, before I forget. And at the very end, hey, if you're serious about everything we just talked about of scaling your ads without losing your shirt, then, and you want to just completely take it off your hands, head on over to this page here. We'll get an application going. We'll see you for a right fit and we'll go from there. Right, that's my call to action at the end. But I told you at the beginning too, the person that was just like, how do I get in touch with this person again? And you can, if you pay attention, I actually did that at the very beginning. If you wanted the worksheets, I said before we begin, you can go to this here that I'm going to be talking about, and that gives you those worksheets there. And I said bentobot.com/bundle. I use this all the time, but it wasn't a pitch. It was simply reminding you what to do if you wanted to move faster. That's it. So
yeah, it's great tips because if you're in your group and you're showing up consistently and this is your tribe of people, why not, let them know right away what it is that you're talking about and what they can do and how they can snag it or how they can book something with you, whatever it may be. Give it to them right away. You don't need to make them wait. So let them decide, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we're all adults here. We can all make our own decisions. It's like, there's no reason to force someone to watch the whole, and I'm sure, oh my God, what it reminds me of is the whole, like the whole timeshare thing, like watch this whole presentation. Yeah. And then where you're like, oh, I have to do this whole thing to get, I just wanted the free dinner tickets that you promised me. You know what I mean? Like that. Don't do that to people. No.
Nobody wants to get the free dinner tickets anymore because they're like, you're just going to make me sit through this 2-hour thing that I'm going to tell you no. So I will pass on the whole thing. Thank you very much.
Exactly. So tell them at the very beginning, remind them in the middle, and remind them at the end how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. So moving on, this is how we send them somewhere, right? Provide some type of lead magnet. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to break down, this is the second worksheet of how we actually create lead magnets, because I got to break a myth here. Lead magnets, I feel a lot of people say, like, I have this free video series, or I have this ebook, or I have this like 90-minute training or 60-minute training or 40-minute masterclass or whatever it is, right? How often are we like, again, I don't like my time wasted, and I'm sure if you're anything like me, you also don't like your time wasted. I don't want to sit through and have to wait again for a dripped out video series over the course of a week, a 5-day video series course to get me a result. I want the result now. That's why I opted in. Like I want to understand what this masterclass is showing now. That's why I opted in. I don't want to sit through 40 minutes. I don't know you yet. Or for example, like our ebook, how many of those have you downloaded? I know I have a folder of ebooks that I have yet to ever read, but I've downloaded because the title was something I was interested in. What if instead that title was the actual lead magnet, and it was instead like a 2-page checklist or cheat sheet of something that gave me a quick result? And then it said, hey, do you want the entire book? Oh, okay, now I got the initial result. I know I can get a result. of course I'm going to buy your book now because it's going to just be that much more. If your free stuff is this good, what is your paid stuff like? Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking now. That's what everyone thinks. So when we create these lead magnets, we got to start from what our back end first, right? What our offer is, we work backwards there. If you think about those obstacles that people run into, each obstacle should have a specific lead magnet that leads to the result or the next step. And this is how we create it, right? There's 3 successful keys to it, in my opinion, here that we found in my experience. The intro is really just a pre-framing of who you are, how you help, and what your main offer is, right? So it's simply just telling them, for example, let's say I'm going to use nutrition and like fitness coaching. It tends to be one of the easiest things to ever come up with, right? You have someone that's looking, a parent that's looking to lose weight, get back, feel like, let's say 40s and up, feeling like they're in their 20s again. What do, right? What is the first thing they can do? They have kids, they can't just go to the gym for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week anymore. That's no longer a reality.
The gyms are closed. It's not a reality.
Oh yeah, it's not a reality right now anyways, but an example, like what can they do with kids? So like here's like 5 workouts that you can do with your kids to have some family time, right? So that would be a perfect lead magnet for the person in that position, a parent that's over 40 that can't go to the gym, right? Like they spend time with their kids, 1, so you're tapping into that thing. 2, they're now actually getting the results they want. They're taking action on it. And 3, you've pre-framed your main offer as like, there's definitely more than just working out. It has to be nutrition, and they're pre-framing their main offer. Now the action steps are those 5 workouts that they can do with their kids. And then of course the call to action is if you want to go even faster and have it, let's say in 10 minutes, we're going to map out a week-long or 2-week, 14-day meal plan for you that you can repeat consistently, right? So that person now is like, yeah, sure, I would love to do that you can do with your kids and stuff like that. Great. You get on that call, that person does the meal plan for you, and they can rinse and repeat it. Eventually, they're going to want more. They're going to get bored of it. So they're going to go back to that person and eventually work with them. Mm-hmm. But until, that at least that person got all of that help before ever getting on the call with them though. So you've helped them by actually helping them in advance. Mm-hmm. And those are the 3 main successful keys. And this is the worksheet that you're going to get in that bundle. So again, like before I forget, go to bentobot.com/bundle to get it. This is one of those worksheets so it's a plug and play. You can download it and you're able to just fill it in here. But this is how we've best been able to, in our experience, create these lead magnets that are maybe 3 pages at most, and allows you to really get a result in advance for whatever invisible prospect you just turned visible, right? So the intro, the action steps, and the call to action, it goes a little bit more in depth to it, but it doesn't fit on this page, so I didn't put it here. But as you can see, it's super simple, plug and play, fill in the blank, and you're able to get that initial setup for your lead magnets when you actually create your content. So here's what happens next. Like I said, to get all those resources, if you're serious about it, just head on over to bentobot.com/bundle, and then you're able to actually get all of those going. So do you have any questions, Colleen? I'm gonna look while I look here in the comments to see if there's any questions as well.
Yeah, Meredith really loved it. So I will, again, I think one of the best ways that I have seen all of these videos be successful when we do them is to have all of the quick links, right? We don't want to waste anybody's time. So especially if there's a specific part in this video at a certain time that you feel is important for someone to watch, put the time down there and say, hey, watch this one section right here so you can get the tips and the tricks on how to quickly move through putting your offer out there so that you're giving the consumer the opportunity to choose whether they want to watch the entire video or move on to the end. And I think having the links out there make it very easy for them to, having the links. So like I said, Victor, if you'll put all of the links below in the comment section, I'll put some links and comments in the bottom. I'll share it to my other pages if you want to share it as well. The more that we have eyes on it, this is an opportunity for you ladies just to be able to, the reason why I did this is all of us, every single one of us that are in this Lead Up for Women community, what we're doing is we have a message, we have a creative genius, and our goal is to get that out to as many people as possible. And this is a solution, and this is a tool for you to be able to do that very easily, very quickly. I love the what you showed about the background and showing the page of where it can go, how quickly it can go, and then repurposing that content so that you can break it up into other pieces and put it out on other platforms. Let me tell you, when I find little things like that, it saves me so much time.
Oh, yeah.
Every week, things are just automated. You know, don't we automate our nurturing sequence for emails? Don't we have those set up to where, you know, people in our communities just continue to get emails from us on a regular basis if they click on something or download something? This is the same thing. You know, really gives you the opportunity to automate instead of you having to take the time to redo them every week. And it just automatically sends them, you know, where they need to go. So I'm a fan of this. I love it. I appreciate you coming on and giving a little bit more depth behind not only repurpose and what it does is a great tool, but then if they don't even have the pieces of their message or they're not clear about how to share their message, especially if they're speakers. Now, a lot of women are getting on virtual stages and are showing up on stages regularly, many more times, probably double what they were before. I definitely recommend that they reach out to you and your team. So I encourage you, Victor, to put all of your information in the comment section, you know, on the Facebook page when we are finished with the video, and I'll put additional descriptions out there as well and add closed captioning and tag and all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. So exactly like I mentioned, without us, you can at least get yourself on every platform.
Yeah.
My team can take care of actually chopping up we do it, they do it for me internally.
Yeah.
So we've created as an additional service to our clients just because I know that they need it to be everywhere. So if that is something you're serious about, then let's have a conversation to see if it's a right fit for you. Or if not, if you prefer to just have us, because this technology part can be a little confusing. If you would prefer to have us just set it up for you once and have your team take over, that's totally fine too. That way, you know, you don't have to worry about it, because I know there's specific pieces of software that we use, and we could set you up with all of those, and we'll explain to you what they are and how they work. And you can pick and choose which specific pieces you want and not. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and set all that up for you. It's not like our main how we get people results. It just happened to be something that we started doing, and we found that there was a need for it outside. So I was like, yeah, if it's something you want help with, then I can definitely help you with. It's not a big issue.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. We will promote the heck out of this video, and we will make sure that we have it available for many eyes to get to view it and to be able to just click on the comments and get where they need to. Ladies, make sure you take the opportunity to click on the bundle link. You know, he's offering that for free, as well as going to Answer the Public. Another opportunity for you to figure out, what are people talking about? What do they want to hear from me? What can I be answering? These are great opportunities for you to get out there and talk about things that are relative people want to talk about today. So Victor, thank you so much for being with us today. I appreciate you showing up and helping all of the ladies in our community show up and be seen. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. I just posted the link there to that software to it. If that's what's interested you, and then I'll go ahead and make sure I also put my calendar information. If you have a question, I'll give you guys 15 minutes to be able to ask whatever it is you want, how to set it up, you know, and then if you have the worksheets, like, sure, bring them all in those 15 minutes and we'll kind of map out what we can in about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah. And then I would also encourage everyone, if you have any questions, just place your questions below in the comment section and we'll be sure to answer your questions for you. So thank you so much. I
Of course, thank you so
appreciate
much
you
for having me.